let us get excited about Darrell Taylor. I know that the rumors were hot and heavy that somebody was coming in here. Taylor is the guy. I am curious your reaction here to the Bears' newest guy who can rush the passer. What do you like about him? What are you seeing in this move?
Yeah, so Darrell Taylor has had an interesting NFL career so far. He was a second-round pick back in 2020 by the Seattle Seahawks, but came in with an offseason, I believe it was a leg fracture, and basically didn't play his rookie year. Actually, I believe ended up on the non-football injury list, which ended up creating a weird situation this offseason because this would have been the end of his last year, would have been the last year of his rookie deal. But his contract told, if I understand all this correctly, because of being on the NFI for the whole first year, and that put him in a situation where he's technically a restricted free agent. So you have a new coaching staff coming in Seattle with the guy who's already been there. I think the Seahawks liked Darrell Taylor as a pass rusher. His numbers have been pretty productive, but he's not the best against the run, or at least that's how he's sort of graded out so far in his career. And meanwhile, you have a scheme change up there with Mike Macdonald coming in over from Baltimore. And so they signed him to this 1 year, $3-point-something million deal to keep him around. But I think it was pretty obvious based on what we knew going into today, and also what Darrell Taylor said himself today, it just wasn't a good fit in this new defense. He seemed pretty relieved to be, back in a 4-down scheme. This scheme's in particular. And I know the Bears feel confident that the way Matt Eberflus' system kind of simplifies the rules for their edge rushers, being able to play more of like a 5 and a 9 technique, switch between the two. They feel like this is a good fit, a much better fit for Darrell Taylor than he had in Seattle under the new coaching staff. So these are the types of moves, Carm, that you're always trying to make this time of year. You look at like a lot of work goes into this with your pro scouting department. You're looking at teams that have new schemes, players that might not fit those schemes. That's a lot of the types of trades you see this time of year when guys are already under contract. Also, somebody in this case, for Seattle's sake, he's on a 1 year contract. So, he wouldn't have been around probably after the season, even if he played it out. So it kind of does right by the player, helps the Bears. And if you're the Seahawks, you're getting back, a minimal draft pick, but at least something for a guy, and you take the money off the book. So I think this trade made a lot of sense for both sides. And now if you're the Bears, you just talk about the fit, which we'll get into here a little bit, and hoping to get the most out of what his skill set is.
So let's hear from Taylor today, because I just thought his enthusiasm for coming in here and this is a high motor guy. Flus talked about, the thing he loves the most is his motor. The Bears obviously have a huge need opposite Montez Sweat, who's going to do it. So just listening to him talk today, Hoge, I don't know if you had the same reaction that I did, but I was like, oh, this guy is sweet. So here's just a little snippet of his excitement first.
Hey, I didn't know that much, but I know we are 4-3 defense, and I'm excited to be moving forward, like going straight all the time. I'm excited about that part. I get to play forward, get to put my hands on guys and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be, in this defense, and just like hearing from the guys, man, it's an opportunity to get to rush the passer here, and I'm excited to do that too.
And so the question was like, what do you know about the Bears? Like, I'm just excited. He said excited like 3 times there and get my hands on people in 4-3, right?
Well, yeah, the scheme. Look, the one thing about Mike Macdonald's scheme, Carm, is he's really, really good at rushing 4, but disguising who's coming. So instead of like disguising your coverages, you're disguising who's. So you're not necessarily blitzing, but you might have 3 D linemen go and a nickel, 3 D linemen and a linebacker, 3 D linemen and a safety, and you don't know. But what that means for the DNs, you got to be willing to drop back in coverage. So when he's saying, I'm just happy to be going straight all the time, that's what he's talking about. He's like, oh, I don't have to worry about dropping back into coverage all the time now. Like they were probably, it's like I watched Seattle Seahawks, training camp, but I know about the scheme, and I'm taking what he's saying and I'm putting it together. I think, that's where save for that one moment in Cleveland last year where they did drop. Who did they drop back in that game? And it resulted in a disaster.
The worst moment in the history of the Chicago Bears last year. Who was that? Oh, yeah. It was Justin Jones.
That's what it was. Yeah.
No,
so it might still happen, but it won't happen a lot here. He can play defensive end. He can play probably the style he wants to play, and I think the style the Bears think he's best at. So he should be excited.
Well, and, talking to some people around the NFL about him, very quick off the ball, 21 and a half sacks, man, in 3 years for a 6th-round pick at a position that you absolutely need. I know, this is the consolation prize not getting Matthew Judon, but it seems to me that, a 6th-round pick with the amount of picks the Bears have, I like it. I asked him one question that we can play here about getting to start, which I knew he was going to say yes to, but here was the Q&A with myself and Taylor today.
You excited? The Bears don't have somebody who's designated to start up opposite Montez Sweat, so in theory, maybe you could look at it like that could be you.
That's why I'm excited to be here, because there's a lot of opportunity, and I think the coaches and the staff here is just looking, for guys that's looking for opportunities. So I'm excited to be here. I'm an opportunist, so I'm just excited to be here and get my opportunity, get my shot.
I'm an opportunist too, Hoge. I'm going to give you this opportunity to talk about the opportunity that he has in front of him, which is, Flus says it's rotational, but it won't be a rotation if he starts getting to the quarterback a ton, right?
No, it still will be, because there's this guy named Austin Booker who they really like and is going to see the field. One thing I've kind of changed my tune on a little bit since Thursday night too is I think Dom Robb makes his team. So I think you have a couple young guys that the Bears are still gonna. Now, are they all going to be active on game day? Well, at some point you're going to run the numbers. You're going to run out of guys that you can play. But that's a testament to you feel better about the depth today than you did yesterday before this trade got made. So I do think it's going to be a rotational thing. I think it has to be. I think it's understandable that the Bears feel like Darrell Taylor can be better against the run in their scheme because of their rules within their defense. But that doesn't mean he's going to all of a sudden, be a superstar against the run. And so that is going to make him somewhat of a liability on some downs. And so I think you will see a rotation over there. But when you start to think about guys you could trust to be on the field or want to see on the field, and now all of a sudden you're talking about, look, DeMarcus Walker is still going to be listed first on the depth chart as the defensive end outside Montez Sweat, and he's going to kick inside more or the same amount. Regardless, that's already something we knew was going to happen. So now you have 3 guys in Taylor, in Austin Booker, excuse me, and Dom Robb potentially that, I think they're going to feel like they can have out there on the field and not be a liability. You feel that's why I think that they made this move and feel better about it today. And that depth looks understandable to go after missing out on Matthew Judon. This is a pretty good plan B.
Yeah, I was texting with Wu today, and I don't think I'm talking out of turn sharing what he wrote. I remember him in 22, thought he was rocking, took a bit of a step back, but could be a huge opportunity opposite Sweat. And then we have Braggs from the hospital bed also weighing in. Gregory, we were always thinking about you. You write us, we think of you. I see Austin Booker back in coverage a few times during the preseason. It's still definitely a look Flus likes to give, hopefully not as much, but it's one of the few ways to, quote, trick a quarterback QB in a cover 2. Look, you're getting an opportunity to play opposite Montez Sweat. He's going to get a lot of attention. Hopefully, the Bears up front, Gervon Dexter Sr. specifically, can make a big-time step forward. But I would think that as far as Darrell Taylor's concerned, like, what better situation could he have possibly walked into? They need him. There's a great player opposite him. And he's not fine. He's not going to, he's not going to get starter reps, but he's going to get opportunities. Lots of them, you would think.
All right, well, let's do this. We teased that video earlier, and I do have to set it up just slightly. But Greg Braggs had ACL surgery yesterday, and as they give you sort of a pre-drugging before they do the anesthesia, and I believe he was in the pre-drugging phase when this trade went down, and this was his instant reaction from the hospital bed.
Well, the Bears, Ryan Poles, made a move to add the pass rush. Darrell Taylor from the Seahawks. It's very good. What does that mean for Dom Rob? What does it mean for Daniel Hardy? All questions we need to know, as I'm like 20, 30 minutes from going under. They've given me slight medicine, not the full like anesthesia or anything like that. So we're still good. We're still good. I'm giving the people what they want.
No, and I'm going to take your phone.
Stop,
You're
stop,
down.
stop, stop. We're doing.
Greg.
Stop. We're giving the people what they want because all the Bears guys are golfing, and I'm working. So, just wanted to give an update. I'll be just fine. And the Bears made a move for a pass rush. So now we all got to reset our 53. My 53-man roster consists of Caleb Williams on every single slot. So just Caleb Williams named 53 times. You guys break it down however you need to. But like seeing Ryan Poles adding depth on the D-line, something tells me he's not done yet. So stay tuned for more loopy analysis as the day goes on. That's the best I'm going to give you right now. Dom Rob, you're on notice. See what happens. Jenny's giving me a look. I better get off. She's giving me a very angry. It's a look of anger, but also like a sense of pride here.
Give me that phone.
She just doesn't understand good content when you see it. Goodbye.
That is just the best.
All right, I have to admit, I hadn't watched the whole thing. That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I think is that the best work he's ever done?
just,
I mean, Bagman
Jenny-
was good, but that's right there.
Jenny taking the phone away is the best part.
We all silly like the mayor.